What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Fleazy, I'm back with another cook. Chilling in my backyard because it is late February and it was 65 degrees today. So I got to take advantage of it. So today I'm doing something I haven't done a video on. I've done them a few times on the grill, but never a video. I'm going to do some pork. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, pork. Pork, country style ribs. Of course, you know those are cut from the pork butt. So you're basically cooking sliced up pork butts. And I want to get them tender, so I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do that. I could take the easy way out and do my pellet grill. However, I want to get some real smoke on it and just sit outside and enjoy the scent. So I'm going to be using my Chargriller Akorn. I could do the Weber, but I don't know. I guess the Akorn griller it's gonna be. So I'm gonna get my grill set up and we'll go from there. So here are our country style ribs. I rinsed them off a few times because I believe in rinsing my meat. I know some of y'all don't, as I say in every video. That's a whole nother conversation. So the way I'm gonna season these, my main seasoning is gonna be steak seasoning. I'm a big fan of the Montreal steak seasoning. So when I was at the store, actually I saw this spicy Montreal steak seasoning, and I've never seen it before, so I had to try it. And I thought they just threw that paprika in there to make it look red and spicy. I can say it really is spicy. It's spicy. So instead of using hot sauce as a binder, as I normally do with most of my meat, today I'm gonna hit it with that yellow mustard instead. So McCormick's gonna be the foundation seasoning. Then we have our staples: garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and that's it. I'm gonna keep it simple. So it takes a Chargriller at least 30 minutes to wake up. I'm sorry, not wake up, warm up. So I'm gonna season these, then get the grill warm. And while that happens, the meat can kind of sweat out, soak up the seasoning a little bit. And then we're going on there. So let me season these up. Here are our seasoned up country style ribs. They actually kept a good amount of that mustard color, but of course you don't ever taste the mustard after you cook it. Country style ribs are very porous, as they've already soaked up a lot of that paprika, reddish orange seasoning, which is cool. So I'm gonna just let these sit while I get my grill together, and I'll take you outside. All right, folks, here's my grill set up. I just pile the coals up. You can call it a pyramid if you want, but I just pretty much pile my coals up. I'm using store brand coals. Since the Akorn burns so efficiently, these coals will burn as long as I need them to. We're looking at 3 to 4 hours with these. But yeah, so normally what I do is I put a fire starter, maybe 1 or 2 fire starters in the middle, and light those up so those coals in the middle will get lit. However, I don't have any more fire starters, so what I did was just poured a little bit of lighter fluid right on those top 4 or 5 coals and lit them. And now I'm just waiting on the lighter fluid to burn off of those. And once they burn off, then I'm gonna put my grill grate on, close the grill down with the thermometer, and just let it heat up. I want to run at around 275 when I do this cook. So, of course, with these Kamado style grills, you gotta watch the temperature because it can creep up on you real fast. So if my destination temp is 275, around 235, 240, that's when I'm gonna close the vents down. Probably a little bit sooner. Just close the vents down, you know, to where I set them at to maintain that 275, and I'll show you that. That way the temperature will kind of it'll rise gradually, and then it'll pretty much settle in where I want it at. I'm very familiar with this grill, so I know where to set my vents. If you're not familiar with your grill, just be careful. You know, if you want to run 275 or 300, when you get to 200 degrees, start closing your vents down and just see how your grill performs. That's my suggestion. But anyway, let's let this lighter fluid burn off, and then we'll get this grill up to temp. All right, guys, so it took damn near an hour to get the grill dialed in, but that's about normal. So I got my pork country style ribs on, and of course, with it being Georgia, 7 o'clock, we lost daylight, but I got this ring light providing a lot of light. So I got my temperature probe right here, and then I have my rig grill probe here. And so I'm just gonna let these go for at least an hour, hour and a half, and keep an eye on the temp. I'm not going to spritz them since I'm going to braise them in the pan, and we'll get to that point later. But you know, I might check tenderness at 165. If they're tender, then you know I might just go ahead and keep it as is without putting them in the pan. So let's see how it goes, guys. Let's do the cook. All right, guys, we are 1 hour in, and the temperature is already reading 167 in that one. But I want this bark to set a little more. I've been running an average temp of about 250. When I first put them on, the temp was around 280. It dipped down to 235. Now it's back around 271. So what I'm going to do is just leave these on, maybe rearrange them a little bit, and just let them go for about another at least half hour to an hour. Kind of let that bark set, because right now it's kind of set, but it's not set. So I'm going to go another about half hour to an hour, come back and check them out. If the bark set a little more, then we'll go ahead, get it in the braising liquid. However, I will check tenderness as we go. If they're tender, then I might not even braise them. So let's just see how it goes. Let's get some more smoke and color on these. All right, guys, we are 2 hours in. Well, a few minutes over 2 hours. And we're starting to get some good color on these. The bark is pretty much set because you see a little bit of dryness. I'm going to check the tenderness just a little bit. It's a little tough. It's a little tough. So we're going to go ahead and... Ooh, that feels good. That must be fat right there. So yeah, we got a little ways to go. Some are a little tender and some are tough. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap them up. But right now I'm going to give them a little spritz with this. It's probably about 1 part vinegar, 3 parts apple cider. It was left from the last cook I did about a week ago. And then I'm going to flip them over and do the same thing. Let's get a quick flip on these. And this is my first time flipping them. I did rearrange them about an hour in. And now I just give them another spritz. So I am going to go ahead and wrap these up. I was going to use a pan, however, I might just use some foil. So let me get that together. All right, guys, so we have our country style ribs here in the pan. I went ahead and used the pan since that's what I bought the pan for, and it was just $1. You know, I'm cheap. So what I got here, I keep my braising liquid simple. All this is water that I have heated up with a bouillon, beef bouillon cube. That's it, beef broth basically. And what I'm going to do is just pour this in, just on right there. I don't want to pour it right on the meat. The bark is set, but I still don't want to pour it on the meat. And I'm going to go ahead and see. I might just pour it all in. The pan is pretty big, so yeah, let's give it all. And that's it. So I'm going to foil this up and throw it right back on the grill. I'll probably let it go for another hour, and then we'll see how the tenderness is. If it's tender, I might take it off, put it back on the grates, and just let it firm up, darken up a little bit. But let's wrap it up, let it cook another hour, and we'll see where we are. All right, folks. So we might as well have a little fun in between the cook. I got another hour to go. So let me introduce you to my new buddy, Jazzy. Say hey, girl. She's a beautiful dog, as you can see. She's actually a Pit and Shar-Pei mix, and she's 9 years old. I got her from a program called Canine Cellmates. And this program, what they do is they work with the Fulton County, which is in Atlanta, Fulton County inmates, to train these rescue dogs. So my Chihuahua passed away back in September, which was October, November, December, about 5 months ago, September of 2023. And I really didn't plan on getting another dog. I was just gonna chill until the time comes. And my mom was working with a woman who works with the program Canine Cellmates, and she said, hey, you know anybody looking for a dog? I work with this program. And my mom said, well, my son, he lost his dog. He might be open to another dog. And so she sent an email with 2 dogs that they were trying to get adopted. The first dog was named Bronco. Gorgeous dog, about 65 pounds, which is the same size as my dog. He was 2.5 years old, so he was younger, but he was a bit much. You know, I felt like he would have tore my house apart. So I said I like him, but I just don't think he's for me. And so they told me about another dog named Jazzy, and they said, you know, Jazzy's a great dog, Pit Sharpei mix. She's 65 pounds, the same size. She's just a little bit shorter than Bronco, but she's actually wider than Bronco. So that weight is distributed differently, but they're the same size. And they said she's a senior dog. You know, she's 9 years old, but she's the happiest dog, and you can't tell. And so when I met her, I just fell. So like I was saying before, my camera rudely cut me off. When I met her, I just fell in love with her. You know, she's just the happiest dog. She's actually spent over half her life in kennels. You know, which is crazy. You know, for a dog, you just think about half your life you're in kennels. But she's always just been a happy dog, and she was adopted for about 7 months by a person. But that person, and he was an active person. He used to go hiking and would take her, and he got ill to where he couldn't. His mobility changed, so he had to bring her back. So I think about all she's been through as a dog. You know, I don't know. They said dogs' memories aren't that long. I think they are. They remember things, and so I know that she was placed into a home. She found love, and then it was kind of taken away from her. Even though they do love her at the kennels, they treated her great at the kennels, and they were good people. And she's well trained because of that, you know. So they've treated her good. But now I adopted her, and we're getting very acclimated. And I just want her to know that this is her forever home. She kind of seems like she knows it. Hey, she's just so comfortable. So that's my story. That's my story with my new companion. So that's it. That's it, man. So let's get back to the cook. You know, you now know Jazzy. So when you see her or hear her walking around, my other dog lady, you should hear her little footsteps tapping because she just had these little feet with the nails. With Jazzy, you probably won't hear her tapping as much because her feet are just big. But that's her. So say hey. All right, guys. So sometimes you got to adjust when you're doing your cooks. And that's what I'm having to do now. So I told you I use my store brand coals. You know, I represent the guys that use the cheap coals sometimes, not Kingsford. These are essential everyday. That's what the name brand is. Actually, no, these are the Walmart coals, the Expert Grill. So my Chargriller Akorn normally burns very efficiently. And I thought I had enough coals in there, but apparently over this last hour, the temperature was about 250 something for that last hour when I had these wrapped. And I noticed the temperature kept going down gradually. So for the hour that these are wrapped, the temperature had been decreasing from 250 to like 219. And it did it gradually, so they still got some heat on them. However, since I realized my coals are going out, I brought the pan inside, and I have an old stove, but this thing cranks out. So I set my stove to 275, my oven. What I'm gonna do now is just put these in the oven, and they've been wrapped for an hour on the grill. There's about 30 minutes left on the timer. It'll be a total of 4 hours cooked. I'm just gonna let them go in the oven for another 30 minutes, and then when they're done, I'll unwrap them and see how tender they are. If they're not where I want them, we'll just let them keep going at 275. Or I may bump it to 300. So these are about to go back in the oven for another 30 minutes, and I'll be back so we can see the results together. All right, guys, so it's been another 30 minutes. We got our country style ribs out the oven. And let's look at it together. Hey, it's not that dark color that I wanted, but hey, they looking pretty good to me. So let's check the tenderness on these. I got my probe. It's pretty tender, pretty tender, pretty tender, pretty tender. So I think we're good to go. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually take the foil off, turn the temperature up to 300, and let these go in the oven for maybe another 30 minutes, maybe, just to get a little bit more crispness on these country style ribs. So that's what I'm gonna do. You know, I got time, so And I want them to be just a little more firm. You know, I want them to be like barbecue. So they are tender, which is great. So I'm going to leave the foil off, put them back in the oven. Go to 300 and just let them kind of firm up a little bit, and then we'll be back for the taste test. All right, guys, so here we are. It's been 4.5 hours. I took them out the oven, and these country style ribs are looking very, very good. Wow, that's all I can say. So all that's left now is the taste test. All right, guys, so here's a piece of that country style rib. Let's try it out. It's a little bit hot though. Man, that's good. That's good. I've done these before, but this has to be probably the best one I've had. It has that steak flavor in it. And even though I don't like sweet meat, I think next time I do them, I'm going to do some with like a more of a pork rub that's sweeter. And do some with this steak kind of style. Because I like the contrast. Like, I'd rather eat both of them. So, anyway, country style ribs, Floyd T Barbecue. Like, share, subscribe.